We'd just like to thank everybody for all of their comments on the videos that we've done, and it's been very exciting actually and very healing for us. And we're hoping that we're sharing things that maybe are helping other people, and it's on this point that we're making this particular post today by video for the reason that we've called it Getting Out. And the reason that we're talking about that is it's not so easy to actually try and describe this on screen, but based on our experiences, we know that from the feedback we're getting from a lot of people that some are very concerned that fading is something that might be seen by other people as something disapproving, maybe, or you know that they're looking at different ways of trying to leave the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. And what we wanted to do was just share a few minutes with you to let you know our view on exactly what really is the most important thing with regards to getting out of the organisation if you are having doubts. And fading is just one of those particular routes that you could follow. There is nothing wrong with fading. Absolutely nothing wrong with it at all. And Cora and I were just discussing before we came and started recording. We're looking at some of the reasons why people would find it very difficult to just get out. It's not that simple. Now we understand that more than anybody. When I say more than anybody, more than those on the outside. Those that are in this position, there are all sorts of reasons, and we wrote a few down, didn't we? Other sort of things that can stop you or put barriers in your mind as to why am I not leaving this organisation. And sometimes it's advisable to write them down on a piece of paper, and we had a few written down ourselves. And we started off with, maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your husband, or maybe it's a wife that you're thinking, I can't do this because of her or him.
Could be something on the lines of family. It could be external members of the family on a further on down the chain, like grandparents, parents, aunties, uncles, cousins, brothers, sisters. It doesn't have to be necessarily in your own home or your own immediate household for it to affect you and make you feel pulled into an organisation and kept in purely for those reasons, because that is a massive pull. And that is why when the organisation use disfellowshipping, disassociation, fading, any way that anybody uses, whatever means they use to come away from the organisation, that the only way and the most effective way of making people be so utterly scared about doing that is family or close friends, and that's the one powerful tool they use to keep massive control over individuals within their organisation.
Sure.
And this is something that we feel very passionately about, that it doesn't matter how you get out,
Just
get out.
Just get out.
Whether
Get
you
out.
jump, whether you fade, whether you do whatever, however you do it, the most important thing to do is to do it.
Set your agenda.
Set your agenda. Now, we were saying about these reasons for staying in, and we're thinking maybe it's your job, maybe you're linked somehow with the organisation through your work, so you lose your job.
Brothers and sisters.
You lose your family. You lose your friends. You
could be
lose
housing.
Could be housing. You could be renting or buying, or somebody who's a JW, and you'll be in a position where you could be homeless. There's an awful lot of things, complex things that would keep somebody from seeking truth. And if you're watching these videos that people are doing on YouTube, then you're in exactly the same place that we were, because you're halfway there. And what we mean by that is you're looking for something because you're not happy where you are.
You're definitely searching.
You're searching because when Mark and myself were looking to release ourselves from the grasp of this cult, we didn't know it was a cult at the time. We had only just started realising that certain things we'd always had concerns about made more and more sense that they were wrong. So we started to investigate, we started to do research, and one of our biggest reliable sources was the internet. One of the main things they say, don't go on, and we were using it we were watching people's videos, we were listening to people's testimonies, we were listening to things that they also had concerns, and suddenly we realised we weren't alone, and that we weren't the only ones having these suspicions and these doubts and these feelings of these questions we had. You can't ask questions when you're in a cult or in a religion.
No, it's impossible.
Because the moment you do, you're frowned upon. They want to know why you want to know
Spotlight is on you straight away.
And so it puts massive pressure on you,
Yeah.
and you're basically warned off. Every step you do, you're warned off not to ask any more questions, because the moment you start asking questions, the spotlight's on you.
And that can also come from family too. You could be looking something up on the internet, you could be even trying to talk to someone on the telephone, asking for some help, because there are helplines out there, and suddenly you're finding that your family might be totally against you too, and it's a real tough one.
And so we because we understand this, we felt very spurred to do a video to try and explain to people that if you're looking on these internet sites like YouTube for answers, the answers are there.
They are.
Now, you have a massive network of people that will love you and help you and be there for you. As scary as it may feel right now, trust me, when you're being told this is how you must worship, this is how you must pray, this is how you get a relationship with your Father, your Creator, your Saviour, it's not true. Because I'll give you a reason why I know that's the case. Mark and myself, I can speak for myself more because this is me, and Mark will obviously agree or disagree because he's an individual, but for my own personal feelings, from the moment I could understand the organisation, from being a young witness growing up, to studying, to learning about the Bible and being indoctrinated at a young age, you're always told to read your Bible, their Bible, to use their publications, and to sort of pray each day and get a personal relationship with your Creator, between the two of you and your Creator. Now, I followed all that, and I gave the impression that's what I had, because that's what everybody else does. Everybody else gives you the impression that they have got this relationship that we were told to have with our Creator. I can tell you for now, I never had it.
No.
And the reason I know that I never had it was because I tried my hardest to get one, because everybody else seemed to have one. But the more and more people I've spoken to, the more and more I realise they didn't either.
They were living a lie too.
And they were living a lie too.
Yeah.
Also following, because they didn't want to be left behind, or seemed to be odd because everybody else had this relationship but they don't. Now, I can tell you, the moment we left, I started to read my Bible independently. I started to suddenly feel so light and airy and free to be able to pray how I wanted to pray.
Yeah.
And straight away, the relationship I never had, I started to feel, I now have a relationship with Him. I now feel close. I feel happy. I wake up every day refreshed and energised and wanting to live and wanting to learn more and wanting to show people what it is I have. I feel bubbling over with the enthusiasm that you should have, they say, when you're in an organisation. You don't have that.
No. Can I add to that also that once we came out of the organisation, you do feel raw, you do feel vulnerable, as we've mentioned before in other videos, but actually when you start relying on Jesus Christ and actually praying to Him, as the scriptures tell us to, and saying, look, okay, this is us now. This is us, we're raw, we're looking for guidance, we need help. We're going to start reading the Bible properly. We're going to start praying to you every day. We're going to rely on you now. and we need your help. And suddenly it is very, very different, because you're putting your trust where it should be put and where it should be placed, and not in an organisation. And all of a sudden your faith starts to go onto a completely different, and you become intimate with your Creator.
Jesus said, "Come to me, all who are toiling and loaded down, he will refresh you." I never felt fresh, never felt light. I do now. I feel all of that and more. Now, we were also saying about how if you're waking up every day and you're feeling, you've got to ask yourself some questions. Are you waking up every day happy? You have one life.
Just
are
the
you
one.
waking up every day happy?
No dress rehearsal here.
Are you when it comes to a Sunday and the meetings meeting time, whether you're in a JW or not, but you could sort of compare this to your own circumstances, but we can only go on what we know, which is being a Jehovah's Witness. So waking up on a Sunday morning thinking, right, I'm going to set my alarm and I'm deliberately going to ignore it, and I'm going to wake up too late, and then halfway through, oh, what a shame, too late to go to the hall now. I've done it all, I know. Oh, I've got a bit of a sore throat, I've got a headache, or I better not go because I don't want to spread my germs. We've been told about that, so I mustn't do it.
Yeah.
Do you hide behind the sofa? Do you, once you haven't been into a meeting, do you avoid the phone, avoid the door, because you know who it is going to be? It's going to be people checking up on you. Where are you? Where were you?
Yeah.
You
Where have you
didn't.
been?
And then you've got to then prepare yourself for the answers during the week that you'll say, well, why didn't you answer your phone? Where were you on Sunday? Where were you on Tuesday? Where were you on Wednesday? Where
We're
were you?
concerned about you.
But are you happy? You may think that staying in this organisation is easier because of, as all the mentions previously, all the family responsibilities, friends, work, home, anything that is linking you to the organisation, that's keeping you there. I will ask you this: is it because of your relationship with God that you're staying in, or is it the fear of man? Because I tell you now, if you think you're going to lose a relationship with your Creator, you will not do that. What you will do is gain one, because I can guarantee you now, any relationship you feel you have, even if you have one, will far excel anything you've ever felt in your life. And it will be more natural, it will be more forthcoming, it will seem easier, it will feel lighter, and you will enjoy it more.
Honesty.
Rather
It's
than
based on
feeling
honesty.
ill and
Yeah.
feeling sick and feeling worried and feeling depressed and feeling all of these anxiety things that come with hiding and living a lie.
You're allowing yourself
You're
to
allowing
just
yourself to be a
the
human.
human being you are.
Yep.
And that's just so
That's
precious.
important, because then you have the freeness to live a life that's been given to us, and then realise just how precious that life is.
And it's not being controlled.
And it's not controlled by, you must do it this way, you must do it that way. You'll be free to live your life the way you want to live it, with a full, conscience-free, light enjoyment to the life we have. And we don't care how you get out, just get out.
Yeah.
And you will lose what you feel is a lot, but you will gain far much more than you will ever lose.
Yeah. The price is worth paying. Now
It is
that's
worth
easy
paying.
for us to say because we're a husband and wife and
But
we've come out together.
we've lost family, and we've lost relationships.
We've lost a great deal.
We get shunned every day,
Yeah.
but
We all pay a
it doesn't
price.
matter.
But each of
doesn't
us
matter.
in our own way. But the intimacy of your relationship, you can talk to him all day long, and I do. Quite often muttering to myself in cars and all sorts because I'm talking to him, and people looking at who's he talking to? But do you know, it's beneficial. I get up in the morning, and the first thing I do, even before you, darling, sorry, is I say good morning, Lord, and thank you for another day of life. And then I ask for his help to be with me all that day, to be a good husband and all the other things that we should do. But it's about just being with him. And he is with us.
You don't have to
No
belong
doubt.
to an organisation. If you do, fine. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Don't feel like you have to
No,
come out of
no.
one
And go
to suddenly
straight
go
into
straight
another.
back into another.
It's not about that.
Raymond Franz's books on crisis of conscience and
In Search of Christian
Search
Freedom.
of Christian Freedom both explain, in both of those books, it talks about when he left, he has...
Can I interrupt?
he
I
had-
think we're about to run out. So shall we go on to video 2?
Probably.
Okay.
Alright, take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.